Hello.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone.
Oh, if I turn this. Are we getting feedback? Hello?
I muted it on my guitar.
I think we got it now. Okay, wait, I gotta send this email to the council.
And we're sending you all a copy of the agendas now, so give us just a moment.
We're all gonna get it. Sorry, because I just sent it to the announcement about the meeting.
Should we see if Mia's going to join and make a report? Or should see? Give me 2 seconds. You ready? Okay, can everyone hear me online? I will take your silence as a yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome
We
to.
got thumbs ups.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to GPSA Council Meeting 4604. Today is August 13th, 2026, and the time is currently 5:32 p.m. For members of the public, you can join via live stream at youtube.com/@GPSA/UNLV/streams. Yeah, we're going to move into a period of roll call. Rachel, are you able to do roll call for us?
Yes, I am. So President Trey.
Present.
We broke the format. Hold on, sorry. We'll just do that. Vice President Nehemiah.
Present.
Question is, can we hear them?
Yeah, can someone say something?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Try again. Apologies.
Present.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Treasurer Kalyani
Present.
and Secretary Rachel is here for the record. Okay, Council. Colin Kovitz,
Present.
Hayden Riley. Chris Miguel. Adarimi. Malika. Julia. Manas.
Present.
Thank you. David. Elsa.
Present.
Sorry. Bianca.
Present.
Kaden.
Present.
Salome. Oh. yeah.
Present.
Okay. Chinonso. Lakyasha. And Katie.
Present.
Okay, and then we have, is it Star or Starlisha?
She goes by Star.
Okay, is Star. Xander.
Xander will be joining up closer to 6.
Okay. And then you are here. Oh, sorry. You can speak for yourself.
Hello, Jessica.
Is Jared here?
He will not join today.
Okay. Thank you. And we already have him. Okay. And Iola?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so you want to do our faculty advisors?
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Is Dr. Bill here?
Dr. Robinson did tell us he will be in the meeting, but he might not be available to talk.
Okay. Dr. Colombo?
Not seen here.
And then Dr. Crittenden, RSVP, no. And Mia
Is
is around.
Mia is around.
Present. Ah,
Yeah.
she just messaged. She's here. Okay.
And our GA program coordinator.
Jonte?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay. So we will move into a period of the public comment. I hate doing this whole thing every time. I just say that for the record. But we'll move into a period of public comment. For anyone who does want to call in for public comment, you can call at +1 669 444 9171. Then passcode is 992 196 06574 pound or hashtag, depending on your generation. Public comment will be taken during this agenda item. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item until the matter is included on an agenda as an item on which action may be taken. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons making comments will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and spell their last name. The board chair may elect to allow additional public comment on a specific agenda item when that agenda item is being considered. In accordance with Attorney General Opinion number 00-047, As restated in the Attorney General's Open Meeting Law Manual, the chair may prohibit comment if the content of that comment is a topic that is not relevant to or within the authority of the body, or if the content is willfully disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, inflammatory, irrational, or amounting to personal attacks or interfering with the rights of other speakers. Do we have anyone that would like to make a public comment? I do not see any in the room. Don't see any online, and just pulling open the email to double check. And I've not emailed any public comments, so we will go ahead and close public comment. We do not have anything in our consent agenda at this time. We're going to be voting on all the minutes and catching up in our September meeting. We'll move into a period of reports and recommendations. I will also be saving all of, I have a couple small out of order. I will be saving my report for tomorrow's meeting, but does our vice president have a report?
No report at the moment. Thank you, President.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Does our treasurer have any reports?
Not at this point of
Perfect, thank you. Does our secretary have any reports?
I do. I just wanted to let everybody know that today I started sending out emails for fall council to confirm the seats that we already know we have and to fill the vacancies. So all the grad coordinators should have gotten, well, most of them. I haven't quite finished the emails, but everybody will get an email today asking to fill those vacancies and to confirm the seats. So if you haven't spoken to your graduate coordinator, make sure you do that. And if you know people who can fill seats other than your own, then please reach out, because we have a lot of vacancies right now. So that is very important.
Perfect, thank you so much. We'll move into President Cabinet's reports. Does our engagement and outreach is not present at the moment? Does our Division of Legislative Affairs Director, Devin Lopez, have a report?
Devin Lopez for the record. Nothing major to report other than the discussion item that we have today, which is the constitutional revisions. Just to remind everyone, we did have one vote on the version of the Constitution back in the April council meeting, if I remember correctly. But we since then have received some significant edits regarding just like language and grammar from UNLV's General Counsel, and that will be that was incorporated by the Constitution and Bylaws Committee this past Monday, and that will be the language that you see today during discussion of the Constitution. That's it.
Perfect, thank you so much. Does our Vice President have a report for Division of Sponsored Funding?
The moment, no reports. Basically, we have just assigned the application for Cycle 4604 to the committee members for review. That's what's ongoing at the moment. We have not actually fixed the date for the committee meeting to approve the reviews and all that. So basically, that's what I have at the moment. Nothing else.
Perfect, thank you so much. Operations is not present, and communications and marketing is not present at the moment. We will be working on filling our AG appointment at the next meeting. And we do not have a historian at the moment. Neil, while you're here, do you have a manager and advisor report? I don't know if she's here. Okay, I'm going to read a quick report for her. Let's see. We would love to have, if Summer Council would be able to help out with our open house event in lieu of some committee service for this upcoming session. Or I'm sorry, if you're willing to come and help with open house in lieu of doing committee work for the remainder of your session, which ends in just a little bit. But this open house will take place on August 24th from 10 to 4 p.m. We don't need you to sign up for the whole time, but whatever hours you can provide, we definitely need the help. I'm dropping a link into the chat for you all. Actually, I'm going to follow up to make sure I should put this link in the chat, and then I will put this link in the chat for you all to sign up and hopefully volunteer with our open house. It's going to be a really fun time. There's food. A lot of our new incoming students will be coming to it. Some older students will be here as well. But it's definitely a good time to socialize with some of your constituents. So if you're able to, I would appreciate it. And I will follow up with you in a minute if I can put this link in our chat or not. Let's see, moving on, we'll move into our committee reports. Does our treasurer have any report for Ways and Means Committee?
Sorry, can you repeat, Trent?
Oh, yes, we're just wondering, Kalyani, if you have any report for Ways and Means Committee.
Yeah, I have, but that needs to be finalized. So once it's done, like I've sent it to Ways and Means Committee report to the vice chair. So once he reviews and give me back and we finalize, then I can present in next council meeting.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do we have a sponsorship committee report? Nehemiah or Iola?
I think Ayola is here. He can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. For the committee sponsorship, I think we're just planning on a day where we're gonna have a workshop for everyone, and we're planning it to be in person sometime around October, but we're still kind of like, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And that's just like the major updates from our own end. That's it. I don't know if Nehemiah has something else to say.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do we have a Constitution and Bylaws Committee report?
Yes, Devin Lopez for the record. So thank you to my fellow committee members on Constitution and Bylaws. I was appointed as chair for the committee for this academic year, and Bianca has been appointed as our vice chair. I'll be following up. I sent a reminder for myself tomorrow to just send out a scheduling tool to ask for your availability throughout the semester. And then we'll get all of our meetings put together. But otherwise, nothing major right now.
Perfect, thank you. Rules and Ethics Committee has not met yet, but I promise I have not forgotten about us. We will be having a meeting scheduled shortly, as there's some things that we'll be able to finally get up onto an agenda. I don't believe we have anyone on our GPSA Awards Committee at this moment. And then, does anybody have any external committee reports that they would like to share?
I had an update. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah,
Manas
Manas.
Agrawal for the business. Sorry. Yeah, so I was talking to Dr. Abel Santos about the GRISE committee. So we have confirmed with the graduate college that someone who is an American citizen can only serve on the steering committee. So the international students cannot serve on that committee.
Hold on, sorry, 1 second. Can we mute on yours?
Yeah.
And I turn my volume up?
Yeah, that was very quiet.
Perfect.
You have to.
Wait, pause. Sorry,
Turn
everyone.
your mic off.
My mic is off. Sorry, we're just trying to get the audio just a little bit louder in here. Bear with us.
No worries.
That's still not working. No, it's like echoey on my laptop. Is yours muted?
Yeah.
Is it muted on that thing too? Sorry, guys. Quick technical difficulties. Bear with us, Manat.
Well, then they would have to use your mic. Isn't this the mic?
We can use my mic also.
I recommend using this mic that way you can move on. And the speaker is it going?
No,
Oh, that was
that's
a
the
live stream
YouTube
issue.
live stream thing connected to there somehow.
Okay.
Is there a way to make?
You could just use your microphone, mute that, and then because that just needs the video, right? You're just using that. Oh, sorry, everyone. I don't know what was going on. Technical difficulties. Can someone try saying something really quick just so that we can hear you all online?
Testing.
Perfect. Colin, thank you. Manas, if we could go back to you for your report. It was very quiet in here, so I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No problem. So I talked to Dr. Abel Santos about the GRI steering committee. So we confirmed with the graduate college that the GRI steering committee can only have American citizens. So the international students cannot serve on that committee. So that's been confirmed.
Okay. Well, then, thank you so much. I'm very sorry for that. But we will send out, I guess, asks for someone else to hop on that committee. But thank you for all the work you have done and all the help you've done in that area.
No problem.
Perfect. Do we have any other external committee report? Okay, the only one that I have is I sit on, oh my gosh, what is the name of that committee? No, the money one, on our student fees committee with the university. We have wrapped up reviewing all of the requests for differential fees, any class fees, and everything for both undergraduate, graduate, and administration offices. We had a pretty thorough list. There was quite a good number of programs and courses getting rid of their student fees. So definitely helpful. Quite a few of them were also in our grad program. So hopefully if you're taking some of those classes, you'll see less student fees in the next year. In addition to that, there were some new diff fees that were brought up and voted on to approve. That was mostly for the PsyD program, as that one just came online. So they just have to build in their differential fees for the first time. There was also some debate on the Rebel recycling fee increase. They wanted to go from $1 to $5, which in the grand scheme of things, $5 didn't sound like that much, but that was a 500% increase. So we have asked for a little bit more information there and to have those groups come to both CSUN and GPSA for a presentation on how those fees will directly be benefiting students. And then they will take it back to committee once they meet with all of us. So they are on pause. Other fees seemed pretty generic and kind of normal to vote in favor of. All of them that we did vote in favor of are fees that are directly going back to benefiting you all as the student, or the undergraduates as students. So and there wasn't any like random hidden fees or anything that we've come across, and we asked some pretty good questions in that committee. So if you do have questions or want to know if any of your programs or anything had fees, definitely email and reach out to me at a later time. And I'd be happy to share any of that information with you all. Yeah, please. We're gonna pause really quick while we try to get some audio fixed in here. You just hit allow.
It's mobile. That's a little bit.
Okay. That is so in my face. Can you guys hear okay? Okay, cool. All righty. So if there are no other external committee reports, we will jump into our faculty advisor reports. Dr. Robinson did email me a quick one. He said he will be logged into the GPS meetings and will be listening off and on. If you want to mention, the only thing I've noticed is that the website needs updating, which is fine. And we will have lots to report after the Board of Regents meeting with an exclamation mark, and to have fun. So thank you, Dr. Robinson, for that quick report. I don't see Dr. Colombo in the meeting. Dean Crittenden is also not in the meeting at the moment, and we will move into UNLV departments. Does Dante have a report from grad college?
Just one thing, Dante Washington, for the record. All tuition waivers for GAs have been applied as of today. If you check your account and still see a balance, that is because you were not enrolled by 5 p.m. today. So just send an email to Grad Financial Services. Let us know that you have enrolled in your courses now, and then we will get that tuition waiver applied for you. And that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dante.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So then at this moment, there's no unfinished business. Can I have a motion to open item 7, new business?
So move, VP Chukwara.
Perfect. Moved by our VP. Can I have a second? Perfect. And seconded by our GPSA Secretary, Rachel. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you all. All opposed, please say nay. And any abstaining? Alrighty, the ayes have it. We're going to move into item 7A, the GPSA constitutional review and revisions. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Devin, and he's going to walk us through a bunch of stuff.
Thank you, President Curtis Brown. Again, this is for the record, Devin Lopez. As I mentioned earlier this meeting, the Constitution and Bylaws Committee did meet this past Monday to finalize all of the revisions and edits that were given to us by UNLV's General Counsel. And so there is linked on the agenda a version of the new Constitution that has all of these edits approved, or all the approved edits from the Constitution bylaws included. So I think what will be best to get through this very, very large document is just to go by individual article. So I will just go through Article 1 to start, provide a quick summary of what's in each section, and then I'll pause for any questions if that works for everyone. Oh.
I apologize. Keep going.
You're good?
I'll
Okay.
get it shared.
Got it. All right. So then starting with Article 1, this is titled Membership, Mission, and Dues. So also just to preface before we get too deep into it, any language that is written in Black is the original language from the current Constitution. Any language that is struck out in red is language that was original but is now being removed and or replaced. And anything that is in red with underlining is brand new that will be adopted if ratified by the Board of Regents. So just to start, Section 1 is just the name of the organization. That's unchanged. Section 2 is the mission of the GPSA. I'll just quickly read through the full mission. The revised version of it is now the mission of the GPSA is to promote and represent the interests of all graduate and professional students at UNLV. The association will support its constituents through their academic endeavors, research, scholarship, and professional development. Research will be a primary goal of the GPSA. The GPSA will further strive to engender a sense of community among the graduate and professional students through social and civic engagement and legislative advocacy relating to their university experience. So there were a couple of changes, but mostly just to bring it more in line with the modern operations of GPSA. There was some redundant language that we struck out. So there was a couple of times that the leadership of the GPSA identifying the executive board was written multiple times. So that's the only reason that we struck it out there. It's referenced later in the document. Section 4 of Article 1 then talks about sources of funding. The current constitution really only says that GPSA is funded through a portion of fees derived from graduate and professional students upon enrollment. But the process for actually getting a fee increase to support GPSA is very vague, and it's not written down in our constitution. And so this language is actually a pretty identical to what CSUN currently has in their constitution, which allows for a direct process for the GPSA to essentially appeal the Board of Regents to ask for a fee increase to take effect the following fall. And so all of this language is pretty much in line, like I said, with CSUN. And the title of the fee, as you might notice sometimes on like on my.unlv, is titled the GPSA Graduate Special Fee, and that's the language that we use here. So before going into the legislative branch, do we have any questions on the membership, mission, and dues of the GPSA? No. All right, going now into Article 2. Originally, Article 2 was very broad. It identified the council as well as the executive board, but also saying that the executive board is in charge of the legislature, which, putting my political science hat on, that's not necessarily a thing that happens in any democracy. The executive and the legislature are pretty separate, except for a few exceptions. But just generally, the president of an organization is not usually also the head of the legislature. And so in section 1 here, we established the powers of the legislative branch, specifically the GPSA Council. And so we identify that all legislative and judicial powers are vested in the council. And the GPSA Council may, by a majority vote, adopt any legislation that falls under its jurisdiction. There's also quite a long list, I believe, of 15 different bullet points of powers that the council has, including but not necessarily limited to making policy statements, paying debts, appropriating money, establishing and amending bylaws. They can appoint a chair, invite stakeholders from outside of GPSA, particularly at UNLV, at NSHE, or also any state of Nevada agency. The power also to impanel an ad hoc grievance review committee, as well as the power to prescribe electoral districts, as well as the time, place, and manner for the election of the representative. And so on that point specifically, there is a major revision, as you all might remember, that the current constitution stipulates that each department that offers a graduate program is guaranteed 1 seat on the council. In order to bring GPSA more in line with our sister organizations, whether that is the GSA at Reno or even our undergraduate counterparts, CSUN here at UNLV, we are going to, or the new language would impose college-wide or school-wide elections for members, representatives of the council. So instead of having members appointed by the individual departments, it would be consolidated to where you are voting in your specific college. And so the language here simply states that the GPSA Council will instead consist of 25 representatives rather than the not really specified number that's currently in the Constitution. Representatives shall also be directly elected by their districts, currently enrolled graduate and or professional students. And the committee also decided that we wanted to peg elections for the GPSA Council to right before the fall semester or right at the beginning of the fall semester. And so the language we have there is that representatives shall be sworn in at the September meeting of the GPSA Council, and their terms of office shall be 12 months, starting and ending at that September council meeting. A lot of language is also still kept the same about the duties of the representative, but we did make one minor change about at-large members, where while currently we allow pretty much anyone to join as an at-large member and partake in debate with the council, we wanted to make sure that we are able to sort of streamline GPSA council meetings and just made it so that at-large members are only those who wanted to run for or who did run for an election, but were not ultimately elected to that position. So at-large members are by default those who did run for an election but did not win. Section 3 is just quorum and minutes, just a small grammatical change there. Section 4 is the legal bounds and responsibilities. You'll notice the B/R1/89 just means that this is language that was adopted all the way back with the original Constitution in 1989, essentially saying, we can't violate the US Constitution, US law, just generally we have to follow the law. We also included that the rules contained in the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order shall govern the GPSA Council. That's, of course, what we've been following for the past, at least as long as I've been with GPSA. But that's just generally the parliamentary procedure that most bodies use. Section 5 of Article 2 then discusses the chair of the GPSA Council. Currently, the chair of the council is the president, but as myself and probably the last 5 or 6 presidents would probably argue, that being the chair of the council as well as the president at the same time is an overload of duties. And so as part of this spirit of separating powers between the legislature and the executive, the chair of the council will essentially come from within the ranks of the council itself. And so we give the council the ability to appoint a chair at the September meeting with the default, with the provision for a chair pro tempore, which just essentially means serving in the absence of someone else. And the chair pro tempore would default to the secretary. And if the secretary does assume that duty, then the president can reassign the minute taking duties out to another person, either of the council or really anyone that the president appoints to that position. There's also requirements for nomination. Essentially, you just have to be in good standing with your with the graduate college or your professional school. And it also covers the duties and powers of the chair. Section 6 of Article 2 then talks about council meetings specifically, establishes that there are to be monthly minimum GPSA council meetings, with the exception for January due to winter break. And the first meeting of each month is considered the regular meeting. We also gave the power to the chair to postpone a meeting if at all needed, but that such rescheduling of a meeting will take place within 2 weeks of that originally scheduled date. All right, is there, and then also that meetings have to be in accordance with Nevada open meeting law, and that the sessions run from May 1st, April 30th in terms of like the numbering. So like this is session number 46. So today's meeting is 46-04. Yeah. Yeah, is there any question anywhere about the legislature, the GPSA council, meetings of the council?
I kind of have a question. I did a little research. This is Rachel for the record. So we ran into this meeting being a special meeting and tomorrow being the regularly scheduled meeting, and we struggled with how to number it. Is there any, like, we kind of landed on like 04.1 and 04.2 because I couldn't find anything in open meeting law or any conflict of like how we number or name the meetings as long as it's on the agenda and minutes. Is that accurate? Do you have any other insight to that?
So there's not really any like uniform way of doing it.
Okay.
That could be something that we address in the bylaws. So I should have mentioned this at the beginning, and thank you for bringing this up now. But the Constitution is meant to just be a very, very broad overview of how the GPSA is to be governed. And then once we go into the bylaws, that's where we're going to hash out the very like nitty gritty details of it.
Yeah, I checked the bylaws too, and there really wasn't anything. So it's sort of at the discretion of the executive board at that point of how they want to handle that.
Yeah, there's no system for like special versus regular meetings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions about Article 2, the legislative branch? All right, seeing and hearing none, I will now move into Article 3 of the executive branch. This is essentially where we talk about the executive officers. And so Section 1 is the powers of the executive branch. We state here that all executive powers are vested in the executive branch of the GPSA. And we highlight 5 major powers of the executive branch, which is enforcing and advocating for policies adopted by legislation from the GPSA Council, carrying out all programs from the GPSA Council, but not making any substantive changes to them, liaising with UNLV, NSHE, or other agencies, guiding the overall mission of the GPSA, as well as awarding scholarships, research grants, and travel allowances, what we more commonly know as the sponsorship program. But we wanted to make sure that that clause was specifically in the Constitution so that that program could not be undermined in any way. Section 2 of Article 3, executive branch membership. We talk about 2 different bodies within the executive branch. First is the executive board, which consists of your elected officers, the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And these members are also, like I said, are the executive officers is the title that we give them. And then the second body under the executive branch is the president's cabinet. The cabinet is a purely advisory body to the president and executes the GPSA's missions and programs. The cabinet consists of the president, vice president, as well as any division directors, the attorney general, and any other members as defined by the bylaws, which would be the council's prerogative. Members of the president's cabinet shall not have voting power on the board aside from the president and vice president. And then we also note that the president's cabinet simply, they serve at the discretion of the president and may be removed by the president for any lawful reason. And if someone was to be removed from their position in the president's cabinet, the president just simply has to write an executive order and submit it to both the executive board as well as the chair of the council for that removal to take effect. Section 3, we make slight changes, just grammatical stuff to the executive board elections. We clarify what the qualifications of candidates for executive officer positions are, simply that they are admitted graduate or professional students, but do not necessarily need to be representatives of the council. We also clearly outline that the election of officers occurs where a simple plurality of valid votes cast determines the elected official. So just simply whoever gets the most votes wins. And then the term of office, we clarify as being the day of swearing in until the next regular May meeting of the GPSA Council, where they are sworn in at the May meeting, to clarify essentially like when terms actually start and end. Section 4 then goes into line of succession. This was very vague in the original Constitution. There was only language really for like temporary absence, but not necessarily like what happens if an officer dies or fully steps down from the position or is no longer at UNLV, something like that. And so we take a lot of this language actually directly from the US Constitution about the line of succession. But you'll notice that under each of these positions for A, B, C, and D, there is something along the lines of, in the event of the president's death, incapacitation, or resignation by a written declaration to the executive officers and chair, the vice president shall immediately assume the role of president for the remainder of the term. However, the other officers other than president are replaced by an acting officer that is to be filled, that vacancy is to be filled by the other officers with approval from the council. Section 5 of Article 3, executive officer duties and executive board meetings. These are essentially the duties that have been given to the different officers over time that were just not really written down into the Constitution, but we just lay them out very simply. So you can read through all the individual duties there. At the end of that section, subsection E and F also talk about executive board meetings as well as workshops, basically outlining what the limits on these executive board meetings are. Section 6 then talks about executive branch membership on the GPSA Council. While currently all of the officers have a vote on the council, we thought it would be more proper and in line with our spirit of separating powers between the legislature and the executive, that the executive board members will no longer be voting members on the council. They will be ex officio, meaning that they are automatically members of the council, but they do not have the actual power to vote on the council. The legislative body will essentially just be the actual voice of the graduate students rather than, I don't know, for lack of a better term, lorded over by an executive body. Not to call anyone out. I'm not doing that. Section 7 then talks about debts and financial obligations of the GPSA. So talking about the summer operations, particularly between the period of July 1st and September 1st, which currently we are technically without an approved annual budget for GPSA, but that'll be changed after the September council meeting. But essentially we needed some type of process to take place for expenditures during this 2-month period at the start of the fiscal year. What? Oh,
I don't know.
Don't know. Sorry. Yeah. All right, and then we also specify that between September 1st and June 30th, all expenditures can be approved by a specific legislative allocation. Are there any questions about anything relating to the officers, the executive board, or anything in Article 3? There's nothing in chat. No. All right. Moving on to Article 4, faculty advisors, our shortest article. Section 1, composition of faculty advisors, simply states that there should be a minimum of 2 faculty advisors. Before the current language just says that there are to be 2 faculty advisors, but we wanted to offer more positions in case there was ever a situation where that was necessary. Other than that, we also specify that faculty advisors are members of the GPSA Council and the Executive Board, but have no voting power. Any questions about our faculty advisors? All right. Article 5 covers the grievances and removal procedures. Section 1, or I'll preface this article actually by saying that the current constitutional language includes provisions that reference organizations that no longer exist and references procedures that existed within NSHE in the 2000s, but over the past 20 years have been phased out. So that's why there's a major need to revise heavily this grievances and removal procedures article. It was UNLV General Counsel's recommendation that we basically provide just a quick summary of the process in the Constitution, and then in the bylaws is where we're going to offer a lot of the very, very descriptive details about how to carry out the procedure. But first, we just specify that we specify who is subject to the jurisdiction of the grievance procedure. So any member of the GPSA Council, the Executive Board, the Cabinet, or any person who holds a title with GPSA and therefore subject to its jurisdiction may be removed from office for violations of this Constitution and/or bylaws. And we also, at UNLV General Counsel's recommendation, have struck out any instance of the word defendant, as that's usually a criminal term, and replaced it with respondent. Section 2 is the summary of the grievance procedure itself. And so we talk about in subsection A, the creation of the committee. The process to initiate a grievance review is to the grievance review can be initiated by the GPSA Council. And in order to do that, a minimum of 10% of representatives may request that the chair place on the next council agenda the formation of such ad hoc committee. And that in the event that the respondent is the chair, then that request shall be forwarded to the secretary instead of the chair. Subsection B then talks about the chair and membership of the committee. The vice president shall be the chair, which is consistent with the current language, and we didn't really feel that there was a need to change that. But vice president will by default be the chair of the ad hoc grievance review committee. The chair will have no voting power, and the chair is also responsible for all correspondences and the maintenance of documents and records of the committee. The vice president, if the vice president's respondent, then that duty goes to the president as chair. And then if both the president and the vice president are respondents, then the GPSA Council will appoint a neutral sixth person as the chair of the committee. And in subsection lowercase numeral 2 there, in accordance with the bylaws, the GPSA Council will appoint 5 members to serve as voting members on the committee. We also added this past Monday that the GPSA Council shall have the authority to appoint alternates to serve on the committee in the event of any voting member's resignation, conflict of interest, or any other vacancy. Subsection C, notices of grievances filed and the hearings and meetings of the committee are subject to the parliamentary and legal provisions of Article 2, Section 4, where we talk about open meeting law and essentially just following the US Constitution and offering due process. Subsection D, we require that the secretary keep UNLV's general counsel notified whenever a grievance has been filed or if a committee's been formed. And that opens up the option for GPSA to bring in UNLV's general counsel as an advisor during that process. A 2/3 vote is required to remove a respondent from office. Any other recommendations offered by the grievance committee can be approved by the council with a simple majority vote, but actual removal from office requires a 2/3 majority. And then we also stipulate that any respondent removed through the grievance review procedure must surrender all positions held in the GPSA, including any stipends, benefits, and those positions must also be immediately declared vacant, and the procedure for filling a vacancy would take place at that point. All right. I know that the grievance article is probably the most dense and substantively significant out of all of this, so I'll leave it open for maybe a minute just to let you all peruse through that and think of any questions that you might have. I need some water. I know. I don't think anyone should be this familiar with the student government constitution, but that's just me. All right, seeing nothing in the chat. All right. Seeing and hearing no other comments about Article 5, I will go to Article 6, which is, it was originally titled Open Meeting Law and Public Records, but we just retitled it to Records of the GPSA because open meeting law is referenced elsewhere. One section here, actually I was wrong. This is the shortest article. All digital copies of the Constitution bylaws will be made accessible. We also clarify that a physical or digital copy of the Constitution shall be made available to anyone upon request and published in a prominent location. And pretty much most of that article is original language also. And Article 7, Constitution and Bylaws Amendments. So the process to actually change these documents in the future. Currently, the Constitution has a grand total of 1 sentence about how to change the Constitution. And it does not specify who can initiate a amendment, who can submit amendment, how it's voted on. And the process also is outdated from 2001. It's much different 25 years later. So Section 1, we stipulate under subsection A that in order to initiate a constitutional amendment, 2 procedures may be used. Any representative, so option 1 is that any representative of the council or executive officer can propose an amendment by submitting a written proposal to the chair of the council. The chair is not required to schedule that item, but they may schedule it as an agenda item at the next council meeting. The other option, option 2, which would require the chair to actually agendize it, would be going through the what we call the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, but for purposes of the Constitution, we just call a committee established by the bylaws to review the Constitution. That committee can submit a recommendation for an amendment to the council by a simple majority vote. Subsection B keeps the same requirement of majority, a 2/3 majority in order for any amendment to be approved by the council in order to advance through the process. Subsection C, upon receiving approval from the council, the proposed amendment shall be forwarded to the Board of Regents at ENCHI for their consideration and approval. There are a couple steps in between actual like council consideration and being sent to the board, but that's the easiest sort of way to describe it. There are some internal checks that they go through, such as like the UNLV president, the UNLV general counsel, but those change sort of all the time. So that'll be brought out, or that'll be laid out in the bylaws. Subsection D, if approved by the Board of Regents, the amendment shall become effective immediately and be incorporated into the Constitution, except that any amendment affecting currently serving officers, any amendment shall not be construed to affect areas where currently serving officers would be removed from office, in which case those officers shall complete their terms in office. So you can't just adopt an amendment that says executive officers serve until December, and then you're all thrown out of office at a whim. Subsection E, any amendments or changes shall be promptly posted to the GPSA website and at the GPSA office by the secretary. Section 2, bylaws amendments. We did have a bit more language here originally back in the April version of this Constitution, but it was UNLV General Counsel's suggestion again, just to put a very quick summary of the process or like the requirements to actually vote for an amendment to the bylaws. We established earlier in the Constitution that the council has the power to establish, amend, suspend, or repeals the bylaws of the GPSA. And so Section 2 just simply states that any bylaws amendments can be approved by a majority vote of the representatives present at a council meeting. And then subsection B is that any a 2/3 majority of the representatives present at a council meeting is required to repeal a bylaw. So it's easy to adopt a bylaw, but it's a lot harder for a bylaw to be repealed after it's already been incorporated. Any questions about that last article, Article 7, or since we made it to the end, any questions broadly about the entire Constitution?
Better?
Thank you. My head was so large. Again, any comments, feedback, thoughts?
Okay.
Oh,
Do you want to read?
I can. Yeah. President Curtis Brown for the record. Our Vice President Nehemiah put a comment in our 2 questions in the chat. Will The bylaws further clarify the distinction between the authority of the council chair and the president, particularly where responsibilities intersect. That's question one. I don't know if you want me to go by question.
Yeah, I'll take all the questions now.
Then the second question is, will the bylaws specify whether committees fall under the legislative or executive branch, clarify who has oversight of each committee?
Got it. So question one regarding the chair of the council versus the president's duties. We specify in the Constitution that the chair of the council is much more legislative, so they're not going to be involved with like the executive board or executive branch decisions. But we can also specify like the powers of the president to get items agendized, because there might be something that's brought to the president's attention that is not necessarily brought directly to the council, and so there might be a need for an agenda item to be directly placed on there by the president. So yeah, we can also talk specifically in the bylaws about how that like agenda setting power would be prescribed. And then the second question about committee placements, I've got it. Under the executive versus legislative branch. So committees generally fall under the legislative branch under most parliamentary systems or parliamentary procedures. But the only one that we specifically state in the bylaws, actually, we might not even state it in the bylaws right now, but would be the division of sponsored funding and the sponsorship committee. So we can specify in the bylaws, like if it's a executive committee versus a legislative committee, we can also do that.
Thanks for those questions and answers and everything.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts about our constitutional changes? I know we all voted on it once, but this was definitely like a big thing for GPSA, especially because we're changing the number of seats for council, we're moving powers around, we're clarifying things. Again, it's been 25 years since we've done this. So, hopefully we go like another 25 years. But questions, comments, concerns, definitely feedback.
I should just one thing. David Elder for the record. So I know we voted on this in May and it's been like revised a little more. Is it still just like generally looking good to you, or is there anything you think we could or should do?
Yeah, no, I would not have supported this document if in front of as it is today, if there was like a major issue that I had with it.
But I follow you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just double checking.
Yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, like the biggest provisions that I wanted to make sure were in there were just the changing of the elections for the council. Because like we've talked about a lot last year, it was just trying to get 51 people appointed every year is a mess, and just having centralized elections will clear a lot of that up.
Another question from VP Nehemiah: what accountability mechanisms apply to the council chair, and who can remove or replace the chair if the chair is not effectively carrying out those responsibilities?
Good question. So under this constitution, the chair of the council would be subject to the grievance procedure. So any violations of like purposely not carrying out their duties or conducting themselves in a manner that's not consistent with the Constitution and or bylaws that are adopted by the council would make them subject to a grievance review and potential removal from that office. But that is another thing that we could also address in the bylaws, specifically about like what would be considered a violation of the bylaws, or what would be considered a violation of the Constitution, something like that. But yeah, generally we do establish the jurisdiction of the grievance review to apply to everyone on the council, the executive board, as well as the cabinet.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Then I guess next we're just talking like timeline and next steps. So Board of Regents updated their policies. So after you all vote on this tomorrow, then I could take it on to Dean Crittenden office or Dean of the Graduate College. She'll just give it a review. After she gives it a review, we will pass it on to President Heavy's office or the university's president. He'll give it a quick one over, and then it will go up to the chancellor's office for final approval. Once he signs off on it, we will have a new constitution. I guess we do need to talk, and I would like some feedback from anyone, but we also have to decide when we want to enact the new constitution, because I do know that the chancellor will ask that of us. We have a few options, but I personally think having this new constitution enacted and starting in fall semester fall 2027 would make the most sense. That would give us the next year, or I'm sorry, the next spring semester and rest of this fall, or upcoming fall. So yeah, next whole year.
Yeah.
But give us the next year to get everything set up, build out the new elections platforms for the legislative branch, build out everything else, make some committees to help outline all the bylaws, someone going through and double checking, like, does this connect here? Does this supersede anything? So it would give us about a year to work on that. Other options are we could have it start in the new year in January. If you guys really wanted to, we could have it start as soon as the chancellor approves it. But what is everyone's thoughts, comments on that? Our secretary in the room has a question.
Yes, Rachel, for the record, I have a question. If the choice were to start in January, this language says that we can't just like supersede that, like, we have 52 seats right now for fall, and then this is saying 25. So if we started in January, would that change? How would that work?
No, that's a good question. So yeah, that one clause that talked about like if made effective, it doesn't impact the current members of the organization, then that would apply. The 51 or 52 seat council would still apply through the fall semester or until the fall semester.
Okay, so that,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
We are in summer council, so if this gets voted on tomorrow, that's summer council. So, no.
But it can't get enacted right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Nia, do you have your hands up?
Hello, Nia Christina for the record. So actually, I just wanted to ask what you guys think for developing that process to 25 seats. If this passes, we'll start doing 25 seats. We have to figure out what that process looks like this fall. But I guess my big question is, do you guys think this would go through the Rules and Ethics Committee? Would this go through the Elections Commission? Or would this go through the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, or some ad hoc version of a blend of the three?
Are you saying, sorry, just for like organizing the new 25 seats, or was there just more?
Yeah, it would be how do we get those 25 seats elected?
Gotcha.
Who would be the group that would help determine that process?
I will yield to our Director of Legislative Affairs.
Thank you. Devin Lopez for the record. What I would suggest possibly is just impaneling an ad hoc review, an ad hoc committee to transition into the new council. And if the ad hoc committee is formed quick enough, we could have them essentially just observe the CSUN elections, because their elections are also done, I believe, by college. So just simply like observing their system and just seeing how we can just transfer that over to the GPSA system. That might be one quick way to get ahead of the game before time really starts to get the best of us in spring.
You're talking about when are their elections? Are they this fall?
Yes, they occur in the fall.
Okay.
Their legislative elections at least occur in the fall.
Would that be an ad hoc committee we'd have to form at September council then?
Ad hoc committees by our bylaws can be impaneled by the president at their discretion.
Oh, interesting.
And any member of the council can object to the creation of a committee, but I don't know. I don't think a member of the council would want to object to that. But I could be wrong.
Thank you, Devin. And Trey.
So no, it's really all Devin. He did all the late listings here, so thank you again. Other questions, comments, concerns? Going once or forever hold your peace until tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe Devin Lopez for the record, one question maybe for the chair of the council. Is this item going to be open for amendment tomorrow, or is it just going to be just opening up for the vote?
Move the mic a little closer to Trey. Thank you, Nia. I mean, I guess I'm always open to people wanting to make amendments. I would say if you do have questions, comments, concerns, and things that you'd like to amend, it's a lot easier for us to hash them all out now so that we have time to type up and revise in documents tomorrow. So I hope you all had a moment to read through the constitutional changes. So I would ask that we try to review everything today, but I won't ignore any motions for amendments tomorrow.
Right, so for the record,
Oh.
could we,
Sorry, can I yield to Nehemiah first? I saw his hand up, and then can I go to you? My apologies.
Just a question. Like you said, the constitution, once it's approved at the council tomorrow, you will take it up to the university leadership. I think it's going to go to the board of regents finally for approval, something like that. When will the updates, the bylaws updates come?
Oh, sorry. Can you say that one more time? I got
So
distracted.
when are we going to update the bylaws? So just as you're updating the constitution and needing approval for the constitution, when are we going to update the bylaws?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of two-part. I mean, we still have to wait for the constitution to get approved by the chancellor's office in NSHE. So I mean, he retains every right to just still deny it, and then we revert back to our current constitution. But I believe we could start working on bylaw revisions and everything now, because those bylaw revisions honestly should be getting made so that we can update and bring a lot of things up to speed for council anyway. So yes, but Devin, I don't know if you had any more points to that. Sorry.
Devin Lopez for the record. Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. What we can also do is I can have the Constitution and Bylaws Committee just start reviewing like the major questions that we have. Like particularly, I think your questions about the grievance committee, we can get those written out pretty quickly and put up to the council pretty soon. Because we have the grievance procedure already written into the Constitution, so we can start working on some things early, and then any of the like new language we can address once it's actually ratified.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then we'll go to Rachel.
oh, I had a suggestion of maybe since, we're all here and we had the time, maybe give like 10 minutes for everybody to just give a quick look without speaking. Like, I don't know if that's worthwhile.
Yes, everyone, we are going to take a 10-minute recess so you can all review the Constitution, draft your thoughts and questions. We will rejoin at do I need a motion to recess? I don't think so.
You do not. You do not.
Okay, thank you, Nia. We are going to recess and we will all come back at 6:45. Thank you. Alrighty, friends and council members and everyone present. We are coming out of recess now as it is 6:45. Hopefully that gave you all a moment to review anything. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, amendments? Feel free to raise your hand or type it in the chat. Okay. So I am not seeing anything else. Devin, do you have any last comments?
No, that's for the record. Just again, if you go back through the Constitution tonight, tomorrow morning, just before tomorrow's council meeting, if you do have an amendment, I would strongly suggest that you write it out fully and have it prepared. That way we don't have to spend tomorrow's meeting like physically writing out what that amendment language looks like. But otherwise, yeah, thank you all for entertaining my long ramblings about the Constitution over the past year.
No, perfect. Again, before we close this one out, again, any comments you have, questions, you just have questions and you don't know for sure, you can also email me at any point tonight and before tomorrow, and I can help answer any questions you might have about the amendment process or making amendments. Manas says, thank you, Devin. But we will go ahead and close item 7A. We're going to move into item 8, which is announcements. I'm going to go back to Manas. I believe he said that he had a School of Integrated Health Sciences update.
Hey, thank you, Trey. Two things. So to begin with, I had a meeting with Dean Landers about different things and what is he expecting. So the biggest thing that came from our discussion was that because it's integrated health science, it has medical physics, nutrition, kinesiology. So we are planning to have socials, and most probably he will be funding those socials. I don't know how much, but we will have socials where everyone will sit down together, discuss our research or discuss what's going on. So that is one update that we discussed. And there was another kind of concern that was a question for the GSRA scholarship that was, I guess, given a few months back. So for the GSRA scholarship, I think the applicant writes a budget that they are going to use it in the lab or for the consumables or something like that. So the question was, how is it supervised, or how to make sure that the student uses that money for what budget they had requested and they don't just keep it in their personal account.
Thank you. I'm going to, I see our GPSA manager in via Nia has her hand up. I'll yield to her.
Hi there. Thank you for the questions. Actually, the GSRA is not managed by GPSA. It is managed by Graduate College, but it's still student research money. And so the way that budget has to be handled is if there's a huge divergence from the budget that was originally submitted with the award application, we do need to see, we will be comparing the original budget to what gets submitted in the final report. So there is a final report that will be due. It'll be due depending on the semester that your activity ends, the activity end date, which was submitted on all the applications. You'll be getting a final email stating that there's going to be a final report due and what those exact parameters are going to be. We're still working on exactly what that report looks like, but basically we want to know, did the award help you? Were you able to basically meet that budget, and how did you utilize the funds? And if it's significantly different from what you originally budgeted, honestly, if there's going to be a huge divergence from the original application, we would like to know that in advance so we can get an idea of what's going on, why the change had to happen. It'll help us revise the award for years to come. So that's how so there's going to be a final report that's due. And it's in the guidelines too. If you want to know more about that final report, there's a little bit about it in the guidelines for the original award when folks applied.
Thank you so much, Nia. Yeah, I mean, the bigger question than the divergence is that what if the student just doesn't use that money at all, for what they had promised, and they just keep it to themselves as if it's a personal scholarship or something. But what is the end date again? So you said it would be the end of the semester. So is it end of summer or end of fall?
It actually depends on the activity end date that the student submitted in their original application. Okay. So there were activity dates.
And then, as you said, like they would be reviewing what you did, and then they would be seeing the thing. So if they see that there is a big divergence, what, like, are there any actions?
Like, are there any consequences
Mhm.
towards this, towards the
Mhm.
student?
Yeah.
Honestly, it would have to be a case by case basis depending on what it is. So I don't think there's a way to blanketly say that right now,
Okay.
but it would definitely be a case by case situation. So if the funds were completely misused, it would definitely raise some red flags. I mean, the advisors are also on these awards. So we want students to learn how to handle grants.
Yeah.
Like if y'all go out into the world and you start handling private grants or national grants or federal grants, like these are things that, or even international grants, like this is a practice that you really don't want to burn a bridge.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you,
So there's a
Manisha.
little bit of self-responsibility.
Sounds good. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Yeah. And thank you, Trey.
Thank you, Manas. And Nia, Nia, one last question for you before we wrap up. The link for people to sign up to help with our open house, it's okay to put that link in the chat, right?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, share that link.
Perfect. So that link is in the chat. If you would like to sign up and help with our open house, we would greatly appreciate it. I don't know if Nia has any other info, but it goes 10 to 4 on the first day of school.
Yes, please. Actually, yes, this is Nia Spursina for the record. So just so you guys know, it is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Obviously, it's the first day of classes. I completely understand that not everybody has a 6-hour window available that Monday. So if y'all have just a couple of hours and there's different spaces that you would like to sign up for, just put your name on multiple spots. So one line would basically be 1 hour. You'll see the time slots on the sign up sheet. So if you want to sign up for more than 1 hour, just put your name on the appropriate time slots.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for participating in this because we definitely need the help.
Alrighty. Any other announcements from anyone? Okay, not seeing any. We're going to move into a period of public comment. Again, for anyone online via live stream right now, you can call in with your public comment at phone number +1 669 444 9171. Passcode is 992 196 06574 pound. We'll give it just like quick 20 seconds. I'm also checking the email that we don't have any public comments. Perfect. So I'm not, I see our GPSA manager, Nia, has her hand up.
Yeah, it's not really a public comment, but I was just thinking for our operating procedure, there was some notes about how the YouTube live stream can lag behind the actual meeting. I don't know exactly how much it lags by, but we might want to wait just like a full 30 seconds or maybe even a minute just in case, because I'm not sure how long that lag is and if it's even a consistent amount of time.
We did hear a pretty decently long lag, so we will give it a full minute and we'll close public comment at 54.
Thank you, Trey.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna give it another 17 seconds. Alrighty, and we are going to close public comment and adjourn this meeting at 6:54 p.m. Thank you everyone so much. Have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow at 5:30 online. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, President.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I
See
don't
you.
have to turn off the
Does
screen.
anyone need anything? What's that?
Oh, never mind. I was asking if we had to turn off the live stream, but I guess it just turns off. So, well,
It
it's still
does. That's
streaming.
nice. You should be able to end you can end the live stream through Zoom.
How would one do that? I'm not,
Well, so when the meeting ends, like when you actually end the meeting, it should stop the live stream, but there should be an option under either host tools or the three dots.
no.